Hello everyone, I'm Freaky and welcome to the video. By the time this video came out, it was the next day after I watched Dragon Ball Superhero. So this video, as I'm recording now, is the next day after I watched Dragon Ball Super in the theaters. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I wanted everything to sink in first and get everything together before I started making this video. Now, some of you are probably wondering, okay, Freaky, what's your thoughts on this movie? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Tell us what your overall score is for this movie. Well, the thing is, when it came to Dragon Ball Superhero, which I'm going to be calling Superhero, you wanna know something? I thought it was freaking awesome. I mean, yeah, it's no Dragon Ball Super Broly, but I really did like this superhero movie. And yeah, don't get me wrong, there are a few problems with it, and things I didn't like. Like, for example, the Red Ribbon Army coming back. Now, that's not to say that I don't like the Red Ribbon Army, which I'm going to be calling the Red Ribbon. I do like the Red Ribbon, I really do. But the problem is, when it came to the Red Ribbon Army, is that they're very, very weak. I mean, they're just normal humans. And I'm supposed to take these guys seriously? Now, don't get me wrong, the Red Ribbon has the potential of being a humongous threat. Like, they had the potential of creating an android army that might overpower Goku, Vegeta, and all the other Z-Warriors. They do have that potential, considering they can make androids like Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. That I can believe. And you know what? I think I would have preferred it if that happened. If the Red Ribbon Army was creating an android army that had loads of quirks and unique abilities. But the thing is, when it came to the Red Ribbon without the androids, they are completely nothing. In fact, they're a speck of dust compared to even Pan, and she's only 3 years old. And you know what? If the androids wasn't there protecting the Red Ribbon Army, Pan herself can take them all on if she wanted to. And the thing is, I can't take them that seriously anymore. But again, if they had an android army, then that would have been impressive. I could have taken the Red Ribbon Army more seriously, especially if they're as powerful as the Gammas. But really, what can they do against the Z-Warriors now? Goku took him down when he was a child, Pan took him down. They are absolutely nothing. And that's the main problem when it came to the Red Ribbon. They are a joke. And if they didn't have Dr. Hito, the Z-Warriors would be like, meh, what can they do? And just ignore them. Hell, somewhere in the movie, when a Red Ribbon Army soldier pointed a gun at Gohan, it was like, meh, I'm not interested. That's how little they care about the Red Ribbon Army. And you know what? That was my attitude as well. And the thing is, Dr. Ito isn't 100% with the Red Ribbon Army. He's just with them so he can get some finances for his studies. If they didn't have Dr. Ito, the Red Ribbon Army would be nothing. And there's one other thing that really bothers me. Throughout the movie, I've seen all the intel that the Red Ribbon Army has been talking about, like they had cameras everywhere, they had intel on the Capsule Corporation and other places, and they knew all sorts of things. But my question is this, why didn't they know about the Dragon Balls? Because in the past, the Red Ribbon Army was known to try and find the Dragon Balls. You would have thought that intel about these magic granting orbs can wish you anything you want. You would have thought they would have went after the Dragon Balls. Commander Red knew about them, Commander Black knew about them. You would have thought they would have went after the Dragon Balls as well. And one other thing, how the hell did they know about Majin Buu? Because in the show, we are told that the dragon wished away the memories of Majin Buu. So how the hell did they know that Majin Buu is an evil force or this monster or something? You would have thought the Red Ribbon Army would have just forgot about Majin Buu. What is up with that? So that's one plot hole. So yeah, that's the one thing in the movie that bothers me. The fact that the Red Ribbon Army came back. And listen, that's not to say that I don't like the Red Ribbon. I do like the idea that there's a secret organization and it's trying to take over the world. And you know what? If they had kept everything secret and slowly but surely make an android army or collect the Dragon Balls, or they met some alien scientists, and the Red Ribbon Army and this alien race are building androids or machines in order to take down the Saiyans, like the Tuffles maybe, they could work together. But the fact that the Red Ribbon Army is still around and they think they can just take on the Z-Warriors is just laughable. Again, if they didn't have Dr. Ito, then they would be nothing. But yeah, that's my only complaint within this movie. And you know what? If they did create a android army, then that would have been awesome. So yeah, that's my only complaint, besides from one or two plot holes. I don't like the fact that the Red Ribbon Army has came back, but from what we've got, it was a good movie. I just think having the Red Ribbon Army as the main bad guy just feels a bit, underwhelming. I mean, come on, they're just mere humans. And without a brilliant scientist to create them something that'll destroy the world or something, they're nothing. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about the Red Ribbon Army. That was my main issue. I wanted to get out of the way. And now, let's get to the main attraction of this video. Now, despite what I said about the Red Ribbon Army, this movie was actually pretty goddamn good. And despite me complaining about the Red Ribbon Army being in this movie, they themselves were also decent in this movie. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to be giving you guys my top 10 as to why the Dragon Ball Superhero movie is good. Now, I did make a video about 4 years ago, and it was me nitpicking as to what was wrong with the Broly movie, even though it was a fantastic movie. Now, even though I think Dragon Ball Super Hero is a good movie, I'm not going to be giving it the top 10 things that's wrong with it, but I'm going to be giving it the top 10 things I loved about the movie. So this list will contain spoilers from the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, go and watch the movie first, and then as soon as you've done that, come back, watch me talk about Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Because again, I am going to be giving spoilers. And so, without further ado, let's resume with the list. Number 10. Piccolo getting his power unlocked. Now, when I first heard of this, that Piccolo can have his powers unlocked and have his full potential, and he can do this with the Dragon Balls, I started to groan because when I first heard this, I thought they were going to pull an old Koi. That, oh, the Dragon Balls can push you past beyond your limits, and Piccolo has gone past his limits and has a new transformation. And when I heard that from people online, I was like, hold on, what the hell is the point of having the old Koi now? Old Koi can push people's potential beyond their limits. But now the Dragon Balls can do that? I was like, come on, talk about an ass pull. But then, when I watched the movie, and Piccolo asked Dende if he could unlock his power like what the elder Namekian did to Krillin and Gohan, Dende says, listen, I can't do that. It's only at a certain age when we can do that, and I'm not at that age yet. But Dende suggests asking the dragon if he can do that, unlocking Piccolo's potential, and then Dende upgraded the Dragon Balls again. And now Piccolo can have his unlocked potential unleashed. And the reason why I went from hating this idea to liking this idea is because Piccolo wasn't having his potential unleashed like what Gohan's did with Elder Koi. It was something similar to what the Elder Namekian Guru did, because even though we're told that the Dragon Balls can succeed the power of its creator, but maybe Dende has the potential of bringing people back to life, maybe. And he did say that he could unlock people's potential, but only when he gets to a certain age. So I like to think of it this way, that the Dragon Balls are exactly like what Guru did to Krillin and Gohan. Like, it doesn't push beyond somebody's limits like what old Kai did with Gohan, but it gives something similar to what Gohan and Krillin had. But since Piccolo is much more stronger than what Gohan was on Namek, then Piccolo's potential unleashed, or unlocked, would be much more powerful. Hell, even Shenron gave Piccolo a little bit extra, a new transformation. What I'm trying to say is, I like to think that the Dragon Balls gave something like what Guru did to Gohan and Krillin, but it didn't do exactly what old Kai could do, because I want to believe that old Kai's power of pushing somebody's limits beyond what they can do is the ultimate power-up, because old Kai is, well, he's the Supreme Koi, and Dende is, well, he's a guardian, he's God of Earth. The Supreme Kois are much more powerful than the Nameks, because it was the Supreme Kois who created planets, they created the races. So I'm just glad that it was the Guru way of unlocking Piccolo's potential, and not the way of old Kai did with Gohan. And you know what? Why doesn't old Kai do this with everybody? Goku, Vegeta, Krillin, Tien. They could have all their unlocked potentials unleashed and go beyond their limits, just like Gohan. Or could you guys imagine if Piccolo had the power up that he did in Superhero, and then he went to old Kai, asking him to unlock his absolute full potential? I mean, can you imagine how powerful Piccolo would be? That would be mental. Hell, even old Kai says, I can push anybody's power beyond their limits, their absolute limits. So I'm really glad that it was the Guru way of unlocking somebody's power, not old Kai's way of unlocking and pushing their potential beyond of what they could do with old Kai's way of unlocking someone's full potential. I was really pleased with this. For me, it was just so reassuring. And so that said, let's move on to the next one. And the next one is Pan. And oh my days, Pan is so adorable in this movie. And not only that, she was actually useful in this movie. She wasn't a damsel in distress that needed rescuing, because when it comes to humans, she can fully take care of herself. Hell, she could take out the old Red Ribbon Army, that is, humans, all by herself like Goku did when he was a kid. And she was useful and helpful. We see her train with Piccolo, she can take care of herself, and she pretends to be the damsel in distress, so Gohan will push himself. Yeah, throughout the entire movie, she pretends to be the scared child, because Piccolo was the one who told her to be all helpless and tell her to act like she's in danger. And you know what? That's great. I loved it. And the Red Ribbon Army didn't even know that they had a nuclear weapon right in front of them when they kidnapped Pan. I bet they didn't even realize that this little girl could take out the entire Red Ribbon Army if she wanted to, minus Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 and Cell Max. She was brilliant in this movie. She's adorable, she's helpful, and she can take care of herself. And her acting is just so precious. It's just great. Pan is just so good in this movie. And so that said, let's move on to the next one. And the next one is Goten and Trunks have finally grown up. And you know what? Thank God. I thought they were going to look like little kids forever. Because Saiyans, or Saiyan children, stay young like little kids. And when they get to a certain age, their growth spurt goes out of control and they go big. And you know what? It is about damn time that Goten and Trunks grew up. They no longer look like little kids anymore. And we have been waiting for ages for this, for them to finally grow up. And you know what? I'm really glad to see them growing up in their movie debut. It's been a long time coming. Everybody wanted to see them grow up. And I'm glad Gohan explained that Saiyan children have growth spurts at a certain age. It's everything that we've ever wanted. It's been a long time coming. And I'm glad it happened. And so that said, let's move on to the next one. And the next one is Beerus being nice to people. Now, when it came to Beerus has always been selfish and is greedy. That was the impression of Beerus since the beginning of Dragon Ball Super, especially when it came to food. But in this movie, when Chilai, Lemo, and Broly, Vegeta and Goku was on his planet, and I could tell that Beerus sounded a lot more nicer, like telling Lemo to come and eat ice cream with him, and telling Broly to come and eat ice cream with him, and he was even nice to Chilai as well. He wasn't the same destroyer like he was in the series. You guys will have to go and see what I'm talking about because it was just so nice seeing Beerus being nice to people around him. Oh, come on, Lemo, let's go and have some ice cream. Or, oh, Broly, come and get your ice cream. I mean, Beerus would have went and ate the entire ice cream without leaving any ice cream behind for anybody else. And you know what? That's nice character development. Instead of being greedy, he's sharing. I really like that part of Beerus in this movie. And it was adorable the way he was being nice to everybody. It was such a good part in the film. And so that said, let's move on to the next one. And the next one is the CGI. Okay, now, when it came to the CGI, before I even watched the movie, I was like, what the hell have they done to it? You're telling me that the movie is going to be like this? It's all going to be in CGI? To me, it just looked very unappealing, because I was hoping that it was going to be in 2D, like in Dragon Ball Super Broly. I mean, the animation in that was fan-freaking-tastic, and the CGI in Dragon Ball Super Superhero was a turn-off for me when I saw it in the trailers. And when I went to go and watch the movie, we did get some 2D animations in the beginning and a few bits and bobs of 2D within the movie. They was good. And as the film went on, the CGI grew on me. It didn't feel flat. And the camera was going like in all different directions, showing us that 3D look of everything. It didn't feel flat, if you know what I mean. I went from being turned off from the CGI to thinking, wow, this is freaking awesome. The fights was fantastic, the special effects was fantastic, the CGI animation was fantastic, but there was some parts in the movie that didn't seem right, like Whis, for example. For me, Whis didn't seem right. Whis seemed a little bit off to me, like he was stiff or something. I don't know, it just seems off to me. I don't know what it is, but it just seems off. But other than that, the CGI did grow on me. Now, would I prefer a 2D version of this movie, or would I keep it in CGI? Now, even though I do like the CGI, I really wouldn't mind seeing it in 2D, but again, the CGI did grow on me, and we got to see all different angles. The CGI was decent, I like it. Yeah, it's not perfect, but I did like it. Now, would I want to see more CGI Dragon Ball movies? Well, to be honest, I would prefer them if they was in 2D instead of CGI, but if they can do a good job of using the CGI, then, well, we'll have to wait and see. But if you ask me, I think they should stick to the 2D, but in this movie, it was good. And so with that said, let's move on to the next one. And the next one is Cell Max. And good God, he was awesome. Cell Max was like a giant out-of-control kaiju in this movie. He was supposed to be the secret weapon of the Red Ribbon, and apparently he was somewhat on par with Broly, so they said. And even though I think that's bullcrap, and they should have gone with somebody weaker than Broly, because when it came to the Gollet Jr. saga, Gollet Jr. was weaker than Frieza, and Krillin, Piccolo, and Gohan was the ones who took down Gollet Jr. So really, the movie didn't have to clarify saying, Cell Max is much more powerful than Broly. I don't think even Goku could keep up with Cell Max. I mean, they didn't have to tell us that. And you know what? I would have preferred it if it was like that. If Cell Max was weaker than Broly. Because when it came to Dragon Ball Z, it's always the next big strongest guy, the next big strongest guy, the next big strongest guy. But when it came to the Gollet Jr. saga and Gollet Jr. himself, he was weaker than Frieza. And Piccolo, Gohan and Krillin didn't need any transformations in order to take down Gollet Jr. They had to be smart in order to beat him. They didn't need any big massive transformations in order to defeat Gollet Jr. If you ask me, I think Cell Max should have been weaker. I mean, I've never really liked the idea that scientists or the Red Ribbon Army could create something that could destroy the universe. And Broly had the potential of destroying the universe if he wanted to. And now, a scientist or the Red Ribbon Army has created something that could destroy the universe. And you know what? I find that ridiculous. But other than that, I did like Cell Max. But seriously, what is up with the name? Cell Max. Anyways, what I like about Cell Max is, number one, this isn't the Cell that we all know and love. Cell Max is a completely different beast altogether. Number one, Cell Max looks like the original Cell's semi-imperfect form. You know, his second form. But in this case, he is red. And you know what? I've always liked that form, you know, his second form, when he absorbed Android 17. And for what I've been hearing, even Akira Toriyama says that this is his favourite version of Cell, or favourite form of Cell. And fun fact, Akira Toriyama's then editor at the time said, Cell in this form looks like a moron. Hurry up and put him into his second form. And you know what? I would have loved to have seen semi-perfect Cell in the series a little bit more, and see what he could do. I mean, yeah, his first form was creepy, which I liked. I liked his second form because he just feels like a big massive wall, and I mean that in a positive way. He just looks like an unbreakable wall that you just can't break down. I mean, when Android 16 punched him, it did absolutely nothing to him, and that's what I mean by wall. He just looks so solid, and the fact he's able to absorb other people as well in this form is cool too. He almost looks like a soldier in a way, and I'm not talking about Cell Max, I'm talking about Cell from Z in his semi-perfect form. Anyways, I'm glad this version of Cell came back. I'm glad that it's getting the respect it deserves. And you know what? I'm happy that it's not in his perfect form, or his imperfect form. If you ask me, I think semi-perfect Cell's form was perfect for this movie. Because in this movie, he's just a rampaging monster with no intelligence whatsoever. He's just a rampaging beast. And he's a freaking kaiju. He's Hirudegon sized from Wrath of the Dragon. And it was a mixed bag when it came to Cell being kaiju sized. Some people don't like giants, some people do. But in the past, we've had Dr. Wheeler, we've had the Ozarus, we've had Hirudegon, Hachiyak at one point, there was Golden a Baby, and one or two more others. And you know what? I'm glad they did this, because I think giant fighters need to be seen more in the series. And Cell Max was a perfect introduction, or reintroduction, for giant fighters. And also, he doesn't have the regeneration like the old Cell did, and he can't absorb anybody either. But instead, his tail has a ball on it, and the first time that we see him activate, Cell Max looks scary, especially when he was roaring. And also, when Cell Max was fighting, we got a nod to Shin Godzilla because Cell Max fired laser beams not only from his body, but from his tail as well. And I could tell that was from Shin Godzilla. And you know what? It was great. And some time ago, I made a video called Dragon Ball Super Superhero Isn't Going to Work Unless. And I go on talking about how I think the Red Ribbon Army isn't going to work unless they did one or two things, and one of those things was for them to bring back Cell. So yeah, in 2021, I said they should bring back Cell, and guess what? They did. Well, kinda sorta. And for what we got, it was awesome. I thought them bringing back Cell was a great idea because the Red Ribbon Army has had surveillances all the way around the world, from the time they saw Frieza and Trunks to the time when they was spying on the Capsule Corporation. These guys knew everything. Well, not everything, but you know what I'm trying to say. And the Red Ribbon Army knew Cell was the ultimate machine, or android. So they wanted Dr. Ito to recreate Cell and make him stronger. And it would make sense for them to do that, because Cell was the Red Ribbon Army / Dr. Giro's greatest creations. So it would make sense for them to have a upgraded, newly built Cell that's even more powerful than the original. It makes sense if you think about it. So yeah, I've got nothing but praise for Cell Max. And some people will say, oh, we want the original Cell. But you know what? I'm glad for what we've got. And you know what? He's kind of like an hybrid of his first form and his semi-perfect form. Because, you know, he's got like those wings on his back. So yeah, I've got nothing but praise for Cell Max. I think he's a great villain. And so with that said, let's move on to the next one. And the next one is the new transformations for Piccolo and Gohan. Well, it's kind of a mixed bag when it comes to Gohan and Piccolo's new transformations. Because technically, Piccolo's got two new transformations. He has his unlocked potential unlocked, like when Gohan had his potential unlocked by Guru that made him a little bit yellowish, in a way. And then he had his orange form, which was Orange Piccolo. Now, like I said in number 10, I'm glad that Piccolo didn't have his full potential beyond his limits unlocked like what Gohan did. Piccolo got this form because Shenron was being nice and he gave Piccolo something a little bit extra. He asked Shenron to unlock his full potential, which he did. And this orange form that you can see right now is his second form. And you want to know something? I'm glad that Piccolo has a new form now, because Piccolo has never had a transformation in a very, very long time. In fact, the only transformation that he ever had is when he was King Piccolo and he wished for the Dragon Balls to make him young again when he was King Piccolo. And you know what? It's about goddamn time. And the highlight of Piccolo using this form is when he was going up against Cell Max. I mean, yeah, sure, he loses to Cell Max in this form, but not only that, Piccolo went giant within this form. So you got second form giant Piccolo. I mean, that is just mental. I mean, yeah, sure, don't get me wrong. Going giant doesn't increase his power, but my god, it is just awesome. It was just one big massive kaiju fight when it came to Cell Max and Orange Giant Piccolo. It was just awesome. I mean, that little bit extra just came out of nowhere. And yeah, I know it was supposed to be a surprise for the audience, like, oh, look at Piccolo's new form. At the same time, I like this form, but at the same time, I was like, really? Piccolo gets his own unique form that no other Namekian can obtain because Piccolo's gone through these special conditions that only he went through? And that's kind of the problem. I can accept that his yellowish form is from his unlocked potential. That was okay. And again, I do like Orange Piccolo, but at the same time, it just comes rather hell out of nowhere. Oh, I added a little bit of something. Don't you mean a big something, Shenron? And yeah, it's Piccolo's own thing, which I'm not a fan of. I never liked characters having their own special transformation. I mean, that's like Vegeta getting his own special Super Saiyan transformation when there's nothing special about him. And for some strange reason, Goku can't achieve it either, even though Vegeta and Goku have the same Saiyan biology. But there are a few exceptions. There's the legendary Super Saiyan Broly. Now, even though he has the biology of a Saiyan, Broly is a special case because he is the legendary Super Saiyan. His power can grow indefinitely when he gets angry. And when it comes to Gohan, he has his own special thing because he's half Saiyan and yet his full potential unlocked by Ulkai. There are some that I don't mind, as long as it's in the realms of believability. Like, Super Saiyan Rage Future Trunks was just stupid. I never liked that. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, even though Piccolo has his own transformation now, well, he's got two, I kind of like it, but at the same time, I don't. Like, if it was in the realms of believability, instead of ass pull, then I would have been on board 100% with Orange Piccolo. So really, it was half and half. I like it, but I don't like it. I'm like, why does Piccolo get to have this orange form? Like, is it beyond the powers of a Super Namek and Shenron awaken that power, or what? Explain, movie, explain! Now, when it comes to Gohan, he was the opposite when it came to his transformation. When it came to Piccolo, it was a half and half thing. Like, we see Piccolo use it against Cell Max, and we was glad to see it because Piccolo has never had a transformation before, but it was an ass pull, and Piccolo's form was his own thing. But when it comes to Gohan, he was the exact opposite when it came to Piccolo, because when it came to Gohan's new transformation, I can accept Gohan's new transformation because, number one, Gohan is a half-breed, and it is said that half-breeds have the potential of being more powerful than full-blood Saiyans, especially when they get angry. And when Gohan gets angry, watch out, like we see him against Cell, and this time again against Cell Max. But this time, Gohan has his full potential unlocked when he was charging up an attack, and he saw Piccolo defeated by Cell Max, and then Gohan lost his cool, and he went Beast Gohan. Now, when it comes to Beast Gohan, it is in the realms of believability, and it is something that I can believe that he can do and pull off. I mean, we've never seen Gohan in his ultimate form and get angry, like that time in Z when he was angry at Cell, when he went Super Saiyan 2. But now, he is in his ultimate form, and he got mad like he did in Z against Cell. And you know what? I can totally get behind Gohan's transformation, because it didn't feel like an ass pull. It is in the realms of believability when it comes to Gohan's new transformation. His mystic power, his human Saiyan, raged, mixed in together, and became something new. And you know what? That's great. And it's believable. And you know what? I never really thought about that. Like, what would happen if Gohan got angry while he was in his mystic form? And we got the results in this movie. And you know what? I'm totally on board with this transformation. Because again, it is in the realms of believability. But the problem is, we don't see Gohan go full power in a one-on-one fight. That was the one thing I would have loved to have seen. Beast Gohan in a one-on-one fight with somebody. That would have been something I would totally been on board with. But all Gohan did is just stand there, take a few punches from Cell Max, and use a special beam cannon to kill Cell Max. And yeah, don't get me wrong, that was cool and all, but it would have been awesome to see Gohan in a one-on-one desperate fight against somebody with that transformation, like when Piccolo was fighting in his orange form. That would have been awesome to see. So yeah, both of these transformations are opposites in their new transformations. Piccolo's was the ass pull, but Piccolo did a lot in his new orange form. But Gohan's transformation into Beast was in the realms of believability. But at the same time, we don't see him use it in a one-on-one fight. It was just a one-sided fight with Cell all over again. So yeah, there are ups and downs to these transformations. You know what? I'm glad they exist, but at the same time, Piccolo's was an asspull, and we didn't see Gohan use his new transformation in a one-on-one fight with somebody on equal footing. I mean, I would have loved to have seen Gohan use his beast form in a one-on-one fight. So yeah, they have their ups and downs, but they were fun. So again, it was half and half when it came to the transformations. So yeah, well, that's then done. Let's move on to the next one. And the next one is Dr. Hedo and the Gammas. And you know what? I love these three. Dr. Hedo, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 was one of the best additions in the Dragon Ball franchise. I like how complex Dr. Hedo is, because not only is he the grandson of Dr. Gero, not only is he the creator of the Gammas, not only is he the creator of Cell Max, but he is a very complex character. Right, you know how in Dragon Ball, where a character is either the good guy or the bad guy, and there's a crystal clear right and wrong, so you're either bad or good, or the bad guy side becomes one of the good guys. But when it comes to Dr. Hedo, he feels more realistic, more human, because in the movie, it was said that he stole some bodies from a morgue, and he tried to steal some money from, or store something, to get money for his funding for his studies and scientific experiments. I mean, come on, he stole bodies from a morgue and turned them into androids, and he tried to get them to rob a convenience store. I mean, come on. And when Magenta recruited Dr. Hedo, Dr. Hedo said that this is all business and I will help you, even though he knows that the Red Ribbon Army are the bad guys. Well, to him, it was kinda sorta, but really, Dr. Hedo is only out for himself. But like I said, he is a very, very complicated, complex character. But at the same time, he's not a villain, and he was against the Red Ribbon Army kidnapping Pan, and at the same time, he was tricked by the Red Ribbon Army, thinking Capsule Corp wants to take over the world. It was just all around fun with Dr. Hedo. Like, we know that's not true what the Red Ribbon Army said, but at the same time, he kind of knows they're bad, but he just wants their fundings to create the ultimate android. Again, I just think that Dr. Hedo is a great addition to the Dragon Ball franchise, and I hope he turns up more in the franchise. It is said that he is much more intelligent than Dr. Gero. And when it comes to the Gammas, Gamma 1 is the more serious one, and when it came to Gamma 2, he's more of the goofball, outspoken one, and he wants to be an hero. He believes himself to be a hero. Like, we know these guys aren't the bad guys, and they do see the error of their ways in the end. And unlike Android 17 and 18, who killed Dr. Gero, the Gammas were very, very loyal to Dr. Hedo. And what I like about them, instead of having ki coming out from their hands or something, the ki comes right out these guns. And every time they hit somebody, like punching them or kicking them, the letters or sound effects pops up. Well, you know in the old Batman series, in the opening, where all the villains are going to go after Batman and Robin, they go pow, punch, throw, slap, and it shows all the sound effects of what Batman and Robin did to the villains. Yeah, it's something like that. And as it turns out, they were just holograms. And you know what? I like that. They're just so much fun. And just like their creator, Dr. Hedo, they don't like the idea that the Red Ribbon Army kidnaps a child or goes to harm a child. In fact, when Piccolo was pretending to hurt Pan, I can't remember, I think it was Gamma 1 or Gamma 2 who said, "Hey, don't hurt that child. That's not what heroes do." And near the end of the movie, Gamma 2 sacrifices himself in order to try and take down Cell Max. And I almost teared when I saw that. It was just so sad to see Gamma 2 go. And you know what? That was just beautiful. I can't remember the last time the Dragon Ball franchise made me cry, because I really did love Gamma 2. It was just so likeable and memorable, and it is said that Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 are the mightiest androids. I like these guys as much as I like the Peel-Off Gang. And yeah, some people might say, oh, the Peel-Off Gang is annoying. But you know what? I really do like the Peel-Off Gang. They're just so much fun. But Dr. Hedo and the Gammas are more useful. Although saying that, Peel-Off is somewhat of a genius too. Anyways, yeah, I'm going off track. I like Dr. Hedo's backstory, how he's connected to Dr. Gero, how he's even more smarter than Dr. Gero. He isn't a straight up bad guy, but at the same time, he isn't a straight up good guy either. He's a kind of sort of rascal in a way, only looking out for number one. But he does have a soft side. Like, he was against the Red Ribbon kidnapping Pan, and he doesn't hesitate to kill Magenta. So if you ask me, Dr. Hedo is a very complex character. So yeah, I do like him and the Gammas. Gamma 2 is just so cool. So yeah, well that's then done. Let's resume to the next one. And the next one is the throwbacks and conversations throughout the entire movie. Now, some people might say conversations in a Dragon Ball movie isn't all that good, because mostly we want to see guys punching each other and fighting and all that stuff. But you want to know something? Some of the best parts within this movie is the conversations and the throwbacks. And no, I'm not saying the movie is so bad that the best parts in the movie was everybody talking. All I'm saying is, when we got that flashback at the beginning of the movie, and the narrator was talking about how Goku defeated the Red Ribbon Army when he was a kid, to all the way when Gohan defeated Cell, and Commander Red's son, Magenta, swore to revive the Red Ribbon Army, and there was the backstory of Dr. Gero, and most of the flashbacks is all in 2D. Even the part when Piccolo was talking about how Gohan got his power unlocked by Guru. Anyways, in the movie, the characters in the movie are talking about stuff that we already know about, like Piccolo talking to Dende about Guru, asking if he can do the same as Guru, and Piccolo talking to Pan about how Gohan used to be extremely powerful and had loads of potential. You know, characters talking about the past. You know, all the stuff that we know as Dragon Ball fans. The characters are talking about the stuff that happened in the past, and the stuff that we know as Dragon Ball fans. You know, that sort of stuff. All those was well and good, but, in my opinion, I think the best conversation within the film is when Magenta and Dr. Edo and Carmine was talking at the beginning of the film. Like, Carmine and Magenta was talking at the beginning about Dr. Edo and saying who he is, and so on and so on. But in my opinion, the best part is when it's Magenta talking to Dr. Edo. And like I said, most of the time the characters are talking about stuff that we as Dragon Ball fans know, like Guru did this, or remember the time when we did that, or saying kids have growth spurts at a certain age. You know, that sort of stuff. But when it came to Magenta and Dr. Edo, they was talking about stuff that we didn't know, or Magenta was twisting the truth on what the Capsule Corporation is doing. And you know what? That 10-minute talk at the beginning of the movie with Dr. Edo and Magenta was just superb. I absolutely loved it. I just love the part where Magenta says, "Do you know about Dr. Gero?" And Edo says, "Yeah, I knew about him, but I didn't really hang out with him or anything like that. I was just a kid." But my favourite line is when he said this. Dr. Edo said this. Dr. Edo says that his parents hated the Red Ribbon Army because they twisted Dr. Gero's mind. So, for all we know, Dr. Edo's parents might have actually cared about Dr. Gero, but they could do nothing to stop him from getting his revenge on Goku. Or maybe it was before that. I just love the past tense of Dr. Edo talking about his family. And the other thing I liked is when Magenta was talking about the Capsule Corporation, that the Capsule Corporation is aligned with aliens and they're trying to take over the world. And he actually convinces Dr. Edo that this is actually happening. He even shows him a video of future Trunks killing Frieza, and he believes him. That whole part was just freaking great to me. We got to know a little bit about Dr. Edo, we hear Magenta's lies, and the fact that the Red Ribbon Army, as a sort of pharmaceutical company, as a front. I don't care what anybody says. The conversations and the throwbacks in this movie are just absolutely superb. And I really do like that 10-minute talk in the car and the 2D history lesson of Goku and the Red Ribbon Army. The conversations was one of the best things within this movie, and they shouldn't be overlooked. The conversation with Gohan and Piccolo, the conversation with Magenta and Dr. Edo, the conversation that everybody had. They were all around great. And so that said, let's move on to the next one. And the next one is the fights. And of course, this is Dragon Ball, and so we have to have our fights. Now, when it came to Dragon Ball Super Broly, it was like 1 or 2 fights, like short fights, and at the end, it was a very long fight with Goku, Vegeta, Frieza, and Broly. Oh, and Gogeta. But when it came to Dragon Ball Super Superhero, it was a fight, they took a break, they had a fight, and they took a break, and then they had the final battle. I mean, thank God they gave us a breather within this anime. I mean, I love Dragon Ball Super Broly, but they didn't really give us time to have a breather. But in this movie, they did, and I appreciate that. But that's not to say that I didn't like the Broly fight. I'm all for fights being unpredictable. Anyways, what about the fights? Well, there was Piccolo versus Gamma 2, and I'm talking about proper fights, not as in training, like with Piccolo and Pan. Anyways, there was Piccolo versus Gamma 2, there was Goku and Vegeta. Yeah, they're fighting in their base forms, but we don't see the full fight. We just saw a little bit at the beginning and a little bit at the end, and that's it. And there's the fight with Gohan versus Gamma 1, from base to Super Saiyan to Potential Unleashed. And I'm like, oh, come on, no Super Saiyan 2? It would have been nice if he showed off that. And there was Piccolo, Potential Unleashed, and Orange Piccolo versus Gamma 2. And there was sort of like little mini fights with Pan and Carmine, Pan and the Red Ribbon Army soldiers, Dr. Edo versus Magenta. I mean, they were like 10 to 30 seconds short. And then we come to the big boss. Everybody versus Cell Max. And the characters who was fighting Cell Max was Goten, Trunks, Android 18, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, Gotenks, Fat Gotenks. Yeah, they screwed up the fusion. There was Krillin, there was Piccolo, there was Gohan, Piccolo in his orange form and Gohan in his full potential, unleashed form, and of course, Piccolo in his orange form when he's giant versus Cell Max. And I'm telling you guys something, it was so freaking awesome to see Piccolo in his orange form when he was giant, when he's facing off against Cell Max. It was just freaking awesome. So, the main 4 fights was Piccolo versus Gamma 2, Gohan versus Gamma 1, Piccolo versus Gamma 2 again, and of course, everybody that I just mentioned versus Cell Max. I absolutely love the fight with Piccolo versus Gamma 2. Gamma 2 is so freaking funny and entertaining to watch when he was facing off against Piccolo the first time. And then it becomes a curb stop in their second fight. And yeah, it was Piccolo who did the curb stomping on Gamma 2. And Gohan, with his power unleashed, was slightly more powerful than Gamma 1. So Gamma 2 won in their first fight. It was a draw with Gohan and Gamma 1. It was a curb stop with Piccolo versus Gamma 2, and of course we had everybody versus Cell Max. And you know what? The first fight between Gamma 2 and Piccolo was fun because he had his sound effects coming out every time he hit Piccolo, like a punch or a kick or a knee or whatever. I mean, even Piccolo says, "Can I see his attack?" or something. It was really fun seeing these two fight. And we never really saw Vegeta and Goku fight. It was like, okay, we're gonna fight, and then we cut back to Piccolo. And at the end of the movie, Vegeta says, "I won Kakarot," which I was annoyed because if indeed Vegeta did win against Goku, then we missed out on a really awesome fight. But hey, saying that, this movie was all about the side characters. Anyways, and then we had the double fight with Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 versus Gohan and Piccolo, which was decent, but the absolute best fight was with Cell Max. And Cell Max is a freaking kaiju, and he did this blast with his tail and his entire body that looks like Shin Godzilla, and everybody joined in, the Gammas, the Z-Warriors, Fat Gotenks, and Gamma 2 giving it his all to stop Cell Max, and Piccolo in his orange form while he was giant. It was like two freaking kaiju fighting, like two giants freaking fighting. Well, it was. And you know what? That was freaking awesome. We got to see Piccolo go giant after all these freaking years. Piccolo stretched his arms, and he even gave us some trivia on how going giant doesn't make him any stronger, but instead it was a bluff. Piccolo was the star in that fight with Cell Max. It was all Piccolo. Yeah, sure, he lost, but his main goal was to keep Cell Max in one spot so Gohan could take down Cell Max. And Gohan really didn't do anything. All he did was just use a special beam cannon while he was in his new beast form. But yeah, this was a team effort, and I loved it. Everyone chipped in. It was all team effort. We got to see a kaiju fight with Cell Max and Piccolo. It was just all around great. And with that said, let's move on to the next one. And at number 1, it is something I have been asking for years, and that is the side characters actually do something. Yeah, I have been waiting for this for freaking years. Now, in the past, we've had the side characters fight the big bad's minions, or the side characters are holding off the big boss until Goku gets here. And that's always been the same when it came to the Dragon Ball series. Okay, we're going to take down the big bad's minions, and we're going to hold off the big bad until Goku gets here. And most of the time, that's always been Dragon Ball's formula, except for a few occasions. Now, sometimes when Goku wasn't in the picture, sometimes that movie would be, well, bad, like the episode of Bardock, or the Dragon Ball GT special, or Broly's Second Coming, or Bio Broly. On those occasions when Goku wasn't around, those movies or specials weren't that good, but there was times when Goku wasn't around. A series or movie or special was fantastic, like Bardock, the father of Goku, The History of Trunks, BoJack Unbound, and it was the same in the series. There was the Gala Jr. saga, which I like. I think it's a good saga, and all the parts where Goku wasn't present, like for example, when Goku was dead and he had to make it to King Kai's planet, train with him and go back, and during that time we got to see the other Z-Warriors fight, and those parts were really good. It's the same with the Namek saga. It was Gohan, Krillin, and Bulma, and Vegeta, and it was a game of cat and mouse, like ducking and diving, hiding, trying to get the Dragon Balls from Vegeta, trying to get the Dragon Balls from Frieza, trying to get the Dragon Balls from Krillin and Gohan, fighting the Ginyu Force, Vegeta fighting Dodoria and Zarbon. All those parts when Goku wasn't around was great, and all the parts when Goku wasn't around, when he had the Art Virus, like facing off against Android 20 and Android 18 and 17, and there was an old debacle with Cell, all those parts where Goku wasn't in it, and the other Z-Warriors had to sort things out for themselves, like when Gohan faced off against Cell and won. All those parts where Goku wasn't in the series, or wasn't anywhere to be seen. Either he was dead, or he was on his way to Namek, or he had the virus or he was dead again in the Boo Saga. I mean, hell, in the Boo Saga, even Mr. Satan was doing something to save the world. When he was talking to Fat Boo, everybody was pulling their weight. They didn't need Goku to come and save the day. Well, I mean, yeah, obviously they did in the end, with Frieza and Kid Buu. But all those times when Goku wasn't around, they were fantastic, in the series and in the movies. And when it came to Dragon Ball Super Superhero, Goku wasn't the center of attention. He wasn't the main protagonist of the movie. He didn't come in to save the day. No, it was the side characters that actually did something in this movie. And they didn't need Vegeta or Goku to come and save the day. It was brilliant. It's just so good to know that the side characters aren't useless. And hell, in the movie, there was a part of the movie where Piccolo was angry at Gohan because it looked like that Gohan has been training. It looks like he's gotten weak. Okay, he hasn't got weak, but he has been slacking off. And Piccolo is angry at Gohan because of all sorts of stuff. Number 1, he doesn't go and pick up his daughter, and Piccolo has to go and pick up Pan. 2, he hasn't been training, and he struggles with Piccolo's weighted clothes. And number 3, Gohan says this to Piccolo. Gohan says, "Oh, come on, my dad will come and save the day, so I don't see the point of just training anymore." And this got Piccolo, and I think the audience, angry too. But at the same time, you kind of understand where Gohan is coming from, because, oh yeah, we're going to fend off the big bad until Goku gets here. On one side, he does have a point that Goku will come in and save the day, but at the same time, I was angry at Gohan for thinking this. Like, oh yeah, well, let's leave it up to my dad. Oh, let's leave it up to my dad. He'll save us all. And at the end of the movie, I'm pretty sure he's got the point, fingers crossed, that Gohan needs to pull his own weight and not rely on other people. But in the end, Gohan did pull his weight and did something. But the main protagonist in this movie is Piccolo. This is Piccolo's movie. Piccolo's the one who first faced off against Gamma 2. He follows Gamma 2 to the Red Ribbon Army base to spy on them and see what they're doing. And Piccolo's trying to figure out how to get stronger. He's asking Pan to play along. He's in the majority of the fights. And you know what? It was just so great to see Piccolo be one of the main heroes within this movie. And I've been saying this for a while now. The Dragon Ball franchise doesn't always need Goku in order to be good. It just needs to be good in order to be good. And yes, Piccolo did say, "Listen, we need to find Goku. Get Goku on the phone right now." And they couldn't get in touch with Goku, so the Z-Warriors were all by themselves. At the very least, Piccolo knew they needed backup. And since they couldn't get in contact with Goku, Piccolo had to be smart. And he knew he needed a power boost, which is why he asked the dragon to unlock his potential, something similar to what Guru did on Namek. And you know what? That was smart. I mean, seriously, why can't the other Z-Warriors do this? Or even better, why didn't they go to the old Koi and ask him to unlock their full potential and go beyond their limits? And you know what? I still say that old Koi's unlocked potential is more powerful than the dragon and Guru's unlocked potential. But hey, that's just me. Anyways, I mean, they could have wished the Red Ribbon Army away, but Piccolo's probably wouldn't let him do that, which I find freaking stupid, because that's Vegeta's thing. But hey, whatever. And they wasted 2 wishes on Bulma when they could have wished for Goku to be teleported back to Earth. So yeah, Bulma was being very greedy with the wishes. Anyways, Piccolo also gets this other idea of getting Pan into his plan to make Gohan powerful. Piccolo gets Pan to pretend that, oh, the mean Red Ribbon Army has got me. They're gonna hurt me. She pretends to be the damsel in distress. And obviously, Pan can take care of herself. She could take on the all Red Ribbon Army if she wanted to, besides from Cell Max and Gamma 2 and 1. And even though Piccolo could destroy the Red Ribbon Army without even trying, he had to be careful because of the Gammas and Cell Max. So it was smart of Piccolo to be sneaky, and it was smart for Piccolo to get Pan onto his plan to make Gohan strong again. Not only did Piccolo have plans, not only did Piccolo give us some great fights, but he, Gohan, and the other Z-Warriors actually did something. They all did something. And I love Piccolo for that. He's off doing his own thing, like he lives in the mountains or something, and he helps out Gohan and Videl whenever they ask him. And also, he's stern towards Gohan, saying, "You need to train more." And she's a good mentor to Pan. Piccolo was absolutely great in this film. In fact, Piccolo was the driving force of this film, and he did a smashing job. And when it came to Gohan, to me, he was annoying, because he had this attitude of, oh, my dad will sort out everything attitude on him. But at the very least, at the end, he actually pulled his own weight and defeated Cell Max. Spoilers. And he had a fight with Gamma 1 as well. So yeah, Gohan was annoying in this movie, but at the same time, he pulled his own weight by fighting the bad guys. And there was Krillin, 18, Goten, Trunks, who was fighting Cell Max. And they did a fantastic job. Even Fat Gotenks did a fantastic job. They were all useful and helpful in taking down Cell Max. and they did it all without Goku. I mean, yeah, it would have been awesome if we had the other Z Warriors there as well. I wouldn't have minded if Android 17 was there as well. I mean, Android 18 and 17 could have met Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, because those two are in a way twins. And I mean Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. I mean, I would have loved to have seen my boy 17 in this movie, and Yamcha, and Tien, and Chaozu. And you know what? You know what they should have done? They should have made Old Koi unlock the full potential of Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, and Krillin, just to make them relevant again. And not only that, Goku could teach Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu the Kaioken. So imagine if Old Koi unlocked Yamcha's, Tien, Chaozu, and Krillin's unlocked potential, and they had the Kaioken. They would have been so helpful, and they would be able to keep up with Goku now. Well, more or less. What I'm trying to say is, they should have brought in more of the Z Warriors to fight Cell Max. It would have been awesome if they did bring in Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, and Android 17, and have Old Koi unlock their full potential. I mean, seriously, why doesn't Akira Toriyama do that for the weak members of the Z Warriors? That would have been helpful. I mean, come on, if the dragon can do it for Piccolo, and he can have a huge power boost, then why can't the other Z Warriors have their full power unleashed and has learned the Kaioken? And having them in this movie would have made them more relevant. I would have loved to have seen that. You know what? Have all the Z Warriors have their potential unlocked by the dragon and or Old Koi. Yeah, sorry about that. I've gone on far enough. Anyways, besides from that, for not having Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, and 17 in this movie, because 17 is still around. For what we got, it was great. But again, I would have preferred it if all the Z Warriors was there, fighting Cell Max. But at the very least, the side characters actually did something. They contributed to the fight. None of them needed Goku to win this fight. They did it all by themselves. Piccolo was the VIP in this movie alongside Gohan. And the other side characters did something too. And that is the number one thing that I love about this movie. Goku didn't appear at the end and saved everybody. Everybody saved themselves. And that's what makes this movie special. This movie proves that the side characters can make a movie good. It doesn't need Goku in order to be good, it just needs to be good in order to be good. And yeah, sure, don't get me wrong, Goku is a presence within the movie, but he's not the centre of the movie. He isn't the big hero that comes to save the day. In fact, this is one of the best movies that didn't centre around Goku. It's definitely up there with the history of Trunks and Bardock, the father of Goku, in terms of Goku not being the centre of attention. And listen, I'm not saying that this movie surpasses Bardock, the father of Goku, and the history of Trunks. I think I might put it at number 3 in terms of Goku not being the centre of attention within a movie or special. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Oh, and also, there's this one part in the movie where Gohan says, I can't see without my glasses. But when he turns Super Saiyan, Piccolo says, hold on, does going Super Saiyan make your eyes better? And when he said that, I was like, holy crap, I never really thought about that before. I guess going Super Saiyan 1 makes his eyesight 50 times more better. And going Super Saiyan 2 will make his eyes 100 times more better. And imagine if he went Super Saiyan 3. I bet his eyesight would be 400 times better. And when he goes into his ultimate form, he has the ultimate eyesight. That's pretty funny. Well, that's all I gotta say. What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Which part of the movies did you like about Dragon Ball Super Superhero? Did you like the movie? Did you hate the movie? Please let me know in the comments below, and let's get a discussion going. I'm Freaky. Peace out. And please don't forget to check out my other social medias. Please go and check out my alternative video platforms, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Twitch, and please come and hang out on my Discord server. We can play games, have a movie night or a series night, or you can watch me play a few games. And if you guys have any suggestions of any videos you want me to react to, or any video ideas in general, you can tell me on my Discord. I'm also on Twitter, Gab, Getter, and Paula. I'm on Locals, Tumblr, Minds, and if you guys want to support me, please go and check out my Subscribe Star. It's like Patreon, but better. All these things are in the description box below, so please go and check them out and subscribe to them. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out.